Mayor, we have everyone here, and whenever you're ready.
Can everybody that's not actively participating in the meeting mute their phones or devices that they're on?
Good afternoon, Lieutenant.
Okay,
How are you?
let's welcome everyone to the Council 6, 2020. Roll call, please.
Mayor Niehaus. Mr. Magistrelli.
Here.
Mr. Magistrelli.
Here.
Mr. Zur.
Here.
Ms. Domzowski.
I'm here.
Mr. Hips.
Here.
Ms. Noack.
Here.
Mr. Wojtusz.
Here.
Mr. Barnett.
Here.
Mr. Wazowski. Lieutenant Zajac.
Here.
Chief Buss. Mr. Walters.
Here.
And I am here.
Can we get the approval of the minutes, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Noack, seconded by Mr. Hips to approve the minutes of the July 22nd. So I grabbed the wrong ones. It should be, sorry, August 12th, regular council meeting, sorry. Any questions, amendments? All right, hearing none. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Wojtusz,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Abstain.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzowski.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, moving on to reports of municipal officers. The mayor at this time does not have a report. Moving on to Mrs. Podfin, Finance Director.
I have no.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor, you have the proclamation listed before our officers report.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brad, you want to do that proclamation?
Sure. We have Proclamation 2020-02 this evening, a proclamation commending Gregory T. Corradino on his exceptional life and years of service to the country and Nordonia Hills community. And I will read it aloud. I believe we may have some family members joining the meeting at this time. And it says, whereas Mr. Corradino was a 60-year resident of the village who recently passed away on August 5th, 2020 at the age of 75. And whereas Mr. Corradino was born on December 3rd, 1944 in Auburn, New York, moved to the village at the age of 15 with his parents Gregory and Angelina Corradino, graduated from Nordonia High School in 1963, and resided in his family home until his passing. He is survived by his wife of 53 years, Dolores, sons Christopher and Mark, and cherished dog Pippa. Whereas Mr. Corradino is a Vietnam War veteran and decorated Bronze Star recipient who served on the front lines in the Vietnam War with the U.S. Army as a radio man calling in aerial and artillery support. Whereas Mr. Corradino started Classic Designs in 1985, which has been generous over the years to the Nordonia Hills community, and worked tirelessly for the company until he retired and turned the business over to his sons in 2005. The work of Classic Designs is evident throughout the village on police, fire, and service department vehicles and signage. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and council of the village of Northfield, County of Summit, and State of Ohio, that the Village of Northfield hereby and herein commends Gregory T. Corradino on his exceptional life and years of service to the country and Nordonia Hills community. And I don't know if any Corradinos would like to say anything at this time. But welcome to.
Yeah, we would just like to thank Mayor Nihas and the council and the police department, fire department, and Jason in the service department for an honor to have my dad recognized by the village. I'm sure that he would have really liked that to have happen for him. So on behalf of my mom and my brother and the rest of our family, we would like to thank everybody. We consider this quite an honor. So thanks to everybody. I see a lot of you. So we just want to say thank you and we appreciate it.
Okay, it's our pleasure. We'll get everyone to sign the original copy of the proclamation and get it framed and get it out to you guys in the near future. And just so council knows, the original is on the table outside the mayor's office. Whenever you're available to stop in and sign it, please do. And we will get it out to the Corradino family.
I would like
Thanks again.
to, Mr. Cordino, what was your first name?
My name is Chris.
Chris, I'd like to apologize on behalf of the village. I wish we could have got this to your father before he had passed. But thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Thank you for everything that your dad or you continue to do for the village. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're very welcome. Engineer Mr. Wasowski is not present. He'll be at our next regular scheduled council meeting. Moving on to the law director, Mr. Bryan.
Thanks, Mayor. A couple things. We have the Mayor's Court monthly dispersal report for July. Total to be dispersed, $7,086.75. Total due the state, $732.50. No money due to Stowe Municipal Court, $22.50 to the city of Stowe, $70 for restitution, and total to the village, $6,261.75. Is there a motion for acceptance?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll
Second,
second.
Motion by Mr. Voitish, seconded by Ms. Noack. Mr. Sheriff,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
yes.
Mr. Voitish,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzalski.
Yes.
Okay, the motion is approved. And then the second item, Chief Buss asked me to bring up, he did look into the pole on Ledge Road, and I guess it won't work. It's not tall enough. So we already approved $12,500 for the cost of the storm siren. The materials and labor for the installation is going to be approximately, won't exceed $7,500. So if council wants
I'd like
him-
to make a motion for that 7,500.
Okay.
Second,
Motion by Mr. Voitish, seconded by Ms. Noack. Any discussion or questions on this expenditure? All right, hearing none. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
yes.
Mr. Voitish,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Domzalski.
Yes.
Motion's approved, and that is all I have for this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to department heads. Police Chief John Zolgis is not present, but Lieutenant Brian Zajac is. Brian, do you have anything for us tonight?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I do not have any report tonight.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask Lieutenant a question, if he would maybe possibly expound on something for me.
Yes, what's that?
Sure.
We got our report from the chief that
Gary, are you there?
Gary, we can't hear you.
Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes.
Mayor, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you. Gary.
Hello? Mayor?
Yes, Gary.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Gary, yes, we can hear you.
You can? Okay,
That's okay.
great. My question is, our email said July report. The report itself said August 26th report, but it explains everything that happened in June. Is this just a late report? Is this a second copy of the same report? Any ideas?
I do not. I don't actually have a copy of any report that the chief put out.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Moving on to Fire Chief Jason Buss, who is not present. He'll be at our next scheduled council meeting. Moving on to Jason Walters, Building and Sewer Superintendent.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Council. I don't have much to report other than guys are trying to get some of the, smaller projects done that we can. We have started doing some road patching behind the plaza. Mayor had talked to me about trying to see if there's some smaller projects we may or may not be able to get done this year. There is a couple things. One, we had planned on paving the pit lock parking lot area. It's not a very big area. I was looking at that, but something that's came up, and I met with our police chief. We were looking, and we talked, I think last month in a council meeting, about parking at the Magnolia Huntington Park. I met with Mid-Ohio. I had some ideas. They came up with some ideas, looking at a two-phase project, possibly, if everybody might be interested, but like this year, maybe, if possible. If you can think of the north side of our current parking lot, there's a grass area, and then which would move to the west side, which isn't very big, and into the park a little bit, there's asphalt. So basically from that fence, or the current fence, all the way to the fence at Magnolia, we'd excavate that land, base it, put in parking, have a middle row of about 5-6 cars, angle park. We'd get, I'm trying to think of what it was. We'd add about 10 spots. And then second phase, we'd put a few spots just off the parking area where you'd pull in, like looking at the diamond. We'd get a few cars in there, but all in all, with the two phases, it would be about 14 to maybe 15 spots, depending on how we can get it to lay out. Rough idea would be a minimum 14 spots. That being said, the complaints we get, we usually have anywhere from 8 to a dozen, maybe up to, I think, 13, 14 cars that sometimes park on the street when it's a busy game night. So we had talked about possibilities. That's a possibility.
Can't hear you, Jason.
That would be the possibilities. I said I would look at possibilities. I don't know if everybody remembers the council meeting. We were discussing that. That would be one. The second phase, I would try to do the one on the ball diamond side of the parking lot, maybe next season, but it would definitely help. Police chief definitely liked it. Mayor liked it. So I'm kind of putting it out there. We would be, after excavating the land, basing it, we'd have to black out the striping, seal the whole lot, and then restripe and put the arrows in the way it would go. We would be right in the neighborhood of $40,000. So that's for the Magnolia Park. Second phase would probably be right in the neighborhood of 30,000. So I'm letting everybody know it. You can have a work session, or if you want me to go ahead and get a better plan of it, I can do so. But that was a rough, well, they gave me a price, but it's something you guys can consider. Trying to get the parking maintained. We are going to start finishing up that other lot as far as the mounds and stuff. I wanted to get some paving done, and we got some stormwater work done that we had issues with down around Lincoln and Sagamore. So that being said, I don't really have anything other to report other than, again, the police chief and I have been talking and meeting and discussing the new ordinance as far as dealing with houses unkept and properties unkept. Some things I'm involved in, some things obviously fall more under the police, but police chief and I are working on it along with mayor. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Chief Zolgis is going with Rennell, and I think Nick maybe this weekend to look at some areas, but a lot of people have asked me, about, it's the same properties that we continuously have problems with. So other than that, I have nothing else unless somebody has questions for me. Oh, I'm sorry. One other thing, the building is complete as far as the repairs. They went ahead, they made repairs all the way around the building. They had finished a little sooner than they thought. So that was nice. They repaired some other things. So
Jason, you do mean City Hall building?
yes, sir.
Okay.
So that is complete now. I think they did a great job. The only thing I know that we have to do next, once we get the new siren up, we got to take that siren, the storm siren.
Sure.
We have to take that off the top of the building. We'll have to do a little work up there at the corner to have that finished as far as being capped. That would conclude my report.
Thank you, Jason. Does anyone have anything for Jason? Okay, hearing none, moving on. Reports of the municipal boards and commission. Mr. Hips, the planning commission.
No report this evening.
Recreation board will meet September 2nd, Wednesday, September 2nd at 6:30 at the town hall. Actually, we're not meeting at the town hall, we're virtually meeting. And I will have Rennell, I will have Tiffany send out invites to everyone on the rec board, okay?
All right, thank you.
Cemetery board has not met, so there's nothing to discuss there. Reports to the standing committees. Mr. Magistralia, Finance.
No report today.
Roads and Public Works, Mrs. Domzalski.
No report this evening.
Welfare. Health and Welfare, Mr. Scher.
No report this evening.
Thank you. Wages and working conditions, Mr. Wojtusz.
No report, Mayor.
Fire and Safety, Mrs. Noack.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Hips.
No report this evening.
Moving on to legislation, Mr. Bryan.
Mayor, we have resolution number 2020-34, an emergency resolution appointing Bill Frazier to the Village Board of Tax Review on first reading. And
I'd like to,
yeah, go ahead, Renell.
I'd like to suspend the 3 reading.
Motion by Ms.
Second.
Noack to suspend, seconded by, I didn't hear, who was it?
Mr. Hips.
Hips, thank you. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Voitish,
No.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzowski,
No.
I would like to make a couple of questions about this. I'd like to know where our Board of Tax Review is at, either in our charter or administrative resolutions, legislation. I can't seem to find it anywhere. And I would also like to know what the roles and responsibilities are, the pay rate, if there is a pay rate, the number of people that are on the board, length of time. I have no information on any of this. And if the board, like I have not been able to find the board, if we need to create a board, I think we should be creating the board before we add people to a board that doesn't exist. So I would like to table both of these resolutions until we find out where this board is actually at.
would you like me to answer the questions, Mr. Voitish? I'd be happy to answer. them
Sure.
for you.
Absolutely.
The board is established under the tax code, section 7, chapter 718. I think it's around .09. I don't have the exact code section, but we are required to have that. That's been in effect since, I think, 2017. We haven't had any appeals that we've needed a board, so we're in the process of establishing it now. We had a taxpayer that filed an appeal. We have to hold a hearing within the next probably 45 days.
Okay, so
One-
there is legislation for this to be done.
Yes, it's already on the books. It's been on the books for a while. We just haven't had people on the board. So it's a 3-person board. One of the people can be a village employee. So the mayor, it's an appointment just of the mayor. The mayor appointed Jay Mutter to be that person on the board. And then there's 2 people that need to be approved by council. And these were the 2 people. Mr. Frazier was interested in being on the rec committee and didn't get his application in on time when we already had the candidates narrowed. So he has a business background, and we thought he would be a good candidate. And Ms. Pines has been helpful on some other roles over the years, and she also volunteered. So this is something we need to get together quickly, and that's why we just we're in the process of trying to get it populated so we can hold this hearing.
Honestly, I never heard of the tax review board, so that's why I'm questioning it.
Sure. And this is just if someone wants to appeal a decision that's been made as far as, what is owed, and the final step, unless they want to go to court, is this village tax board of review. So we have a request for an abatement of penalties and interest, and
So
this
this would be in 7.8. This would be in 718 of the administrative code.
Right, and there's a specific code section that says, village, local board of tax review. So it's in there, and it's a few paragraphs. So I can look it up and
Thanks.
tell you the exact section here tomorrow.
I'll look it up. If you just want to shoot me an email, that'd be great, but I'll look it up also. Thank you.
Sure.
Brad,
Yes.
how long is the appointment for?
2 years.
I'm sorry, 2?
For the 2 people appointed that our council's involved with, it's a 2-year appointment.
2 years,
For the
okay.
person that's, for Jay that got appointed by the mayor, he serves continuously until he quits or the mayor decides he doesn't want him in that role anymore. So,
Understood.
Is there any pay with that?
no pay, sorry. I forgot to.
Okay.
Volunteer.
Thank you for clearing
And
that
just to
up,
let
Brad.
everyone know, it may be
Thank
something
you.
twice in 1 year. We may go 2 years without having them to meet. So it's not a big time commitment, but.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That clarifies it
Okay,
for me.
so we had 4 votes to suspend the rules, which is sufficient, so that motion passed.
Brad,
Yes,
can I switch to yes?
sure.
I would also like to rescind my no also and change that to a yes.
Okay, thank
I
you.
really appreciate that clarification.
No problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Anytime. Is there a motion to pass?
Motion to pass?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ms. Noack to pass, seconded by Mr. Voitish. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Scheer,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Voitish,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzowski,
I'm sorry, I forgot I was on mute. Yes.
Right, the resolution is adopted. We have resolution 2020-35, an emergency resolution appointing Sabrina Pines to the Village Board of Tax Review, also on first reading.
I'd like to suspend that 3 reading.
And I'll
Motion by
second it.
Ms. Noack, seconded by Mr. Voitish to suspend the 3 reading rule. Mr. Scheer,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Voitish,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzowski,
I'm sorry. Yes, I have a guest, so
we know. Is there a
Motion for
to pass?
passage.
Second.
Motion
Motion by
passed.
Mr. Voitish, seconded by Ms. Noack. Any discussion or questions? Mr. Scheer,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Voitish,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzowski,
yes.
and that is it for the legislation, Mayor.
At this time, is there any old business, new business, or announcements? I have one, a little bit of old business. I just want to say that, I hope everyone understands within the community, council, everyone understands why we don't want to do the policing for Northfield Center. I just feel that in these crucial times, with everything happening in the world, we need to focus on ourselves. We need to focus on being the best for our community. And at this time, I don't think we can expand any of our borders. But we will help Northfield Center in any other way we can. We just cannot do the policing at this time.
Mayor, the news leader also said they're looking at fire also. So that would probably be for both situations, correct?
Yep, for me, that's a big no.
Okay.
And I would hope council's on the same wavelength with me on that. I think we are. I know we talked about this in the past. I think we're all on the same page.
I'm with you, Mayor.
If not, please say so. But that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything? Hearing none, do I have an adjournment?
We would like to make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Domzowski and assistant, seconded by Ms. Noack. Mr. Scheer,
Yes.
Ms. Noack,
Yes.
Mr. Voitish,
Yes.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Yes.
Mr. Hips,
Yes.
Ms. Domzowski.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned at 8 o'clock.
Everybody take
everyone.
Good
care.
night, all.
Bye.
Have a good.
Oh my goodness, you guys. I was ransacked during the meeting. You know, listen,